5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ian Robertson.
Music from the 60s. Playing the music you love to hear.
I know you're gonna dig this.
And yes, indeed, welcome along. It's Tuesday night again. We've got a couple of hours of what can only be described as history-making with legends who are still doing their stuff from the 60s in and around the area and beyond. Now, tonight, we are not going to be talking to one of the former jury stroke writing on the wall. No, we're not even going to be talking to two or three. But we are going to be talking to all four of the jury and remaining members of Writing on the Wall. I'm going to be doing that from about 8:15, 8:20 onwards. Jake Scott already on the building and Jimmy Hush on his way currently. From Australia on Skype, we've got Bill Scott, and from London, we've got the fabulous Willie Finlayson. We're not sure if he's going to be on Skype yet on the phone, but we'll definitely have Willie for you as well. All four, all involved tonight from about 20 past 8. I can hardly wait.
It may happen once in a lifetime, when then in your wildest dreams a mind full of limitless imagination starts bursting.
Now, this is a wee track called Flight of the Mind. This is actually quite short. It's good. We've been playing it daytime. And this was a band that formed about 1967, actually, from the jury to the Writing on the Wall. Wonderful stuff. Flight of the Mind from an EP that you can now get along with a lot of other things on iTunes, but we'll find out about that shortly because formerly but going back into 63, I think it was, but we'll find out exactly when it was, up till 67. These lads were known as the Jury, and everybody that listens to Swinging 60s, no, there isn't a Swinging 60s that goes by and hasn't in the last 5 years without me mentioning these guys. I am so chuffed, so delighted to have two currently in the studio with me. Welcome along, Chick Scott.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's great to have you in here.
Yeah,
great to have you in here, honestly. I'm so delighted you come up and we didn't do it on the phone. And Jimmy Hush.
Hello, pleased to be here.
You've been getting a bit of a profile from yourself recently.
That's right, making the headlines in the evening news.
Indeed you were. And an article it was, we'll maybe talk about that a bit later. I've got it through there to talk about, so
right.
I'm looking forward to talking about that. So, what year did the Jury start then?
Well, briefly, Jury started as a three-piece.
Right.
Rock and roll, playing Eddie Cocker. But very quickly formed into a five-piece. Jimmy was standing in on drums for the original drummer. He left or whatever. Jimmy joined me, and the band formed. Jimmy got Winnie in.
I can still remember when I was playing in what I call the Embers Mark II. The Embers stopped after the Mark II. Embers was Robert Smiggy Smith, Jimmy Bain, myself and Alan Bomford from the Embers. And then we ceased after that. I wasn't playing for a while, and then one day, right out of the blue, my dad comes through. Had been a knock at the door, and his exact words were, "There's somebody called Jake wanting to speak to you." So in the 80s, he didn't even get invited in the house. I just went through and spoke to him at the door. And he said that had been getting, his drummer had left, and they had different drummers sitting in, and found out I wasn't playing, and asked if I wanted to join the band.
Incredible.
And that's how it started.
So who was the actual founding member of the band then?
I founded the Jury.
You did?
Aye, with Willie Finlayson, and
Fantastic.
the drummer was called Flea Fleming.
Really?
And he was my mate, but I didn't kind of drum, but when he told me, we'd been going to dancing together. He was for Pennycook.
Right, and what happened to him then?
Well, Flea spent more time combing his hair than he wanted to drum. So he didn't fit in with our plans.
That reminds me of a drummer that was in a famous band called the Fab Four. Did the same thing, didn't he? Anyway, it was like Pennycook was the kind of bass, wasn't it? It was the bass for the band, really.
Well, it was. Pennycook was a very good Hall of Cowns, it was called, I think.
Yeah.
Wally was for Pennycook.
Yeah.
Now, Wally had been in a band from my school called the Dukes. And when I first saw them, I thought, they knocked me away. They were a great band. And they made me want to play.
Right.
That's how I wanted to play.
Right.
Wally, I just thought he was a great singer. And then it took ages to persuade him, by the way.
Right.
It was kind of dry on it, you know. So Flea and I used to collar him in the dance halls, you know. And we're at Bilson Glen one day. To be honest with you, we'd get done for stalking now. Because the two of us used to capture him every time we saw him.
Yeah.
And,
so he gave up then at the end. He said, I'll tell you.
But Wally was quite young then. He was only about 14.
He was younger than me. I was oldest.
I can't remember. Did he? I'll ask him later, but I can't remember if it was him or his brother played for Pennycook Athletic at the time.
Wally.
It was Willie. It was Willie, yeah. I remember that. So, because we used to do stuff in the Pennycook Athletic Club, which is sadly not there anymore, so back then. But when did you change musical direction then? Because my memory, and feel free to shoot me down on it, because my memory was you did brilliant covers of soul rock stuff.
That's true.
Brilliant covers.
We were very busy. Busy band. I had an ambition to write our own songs. Jimmy, often when we spoke about it, was a good ally in that possibility. The others weren't too keen as far as I remember. But what actually happened was, most of the time I managed the band and got the gigs. The rest of the guys did the music and arrangements, and we all just got on stage and did our bit. We all had different roles in the band. We heard a guy called Brian Waldman. He owned the place, and he'd had a band called the Boston Dexters. They had split up. He managed them, and he was looking for a new band. And somebody told him about us. So he says, "We'll send them up and I'll take a look." And it was him. He said to us that very day, I remember it quite clearly. He says, "Right," he says, "get rid of the frilly shirts, stop wearing the brute, get rid of frilly shirts, stop wearing the brute, and stop smiling on stage.
The Brute is aftershave, by the way, just in case.
That's right.
Aye.
There was two famous ones at the time, Brute and Old Spice.
Aye.
That's right, aye.
Well, here's Old Spice. He's sitting here.
Now,
Spicy old.
Now, Jake, you've brought in the place. One of the people who's been in touch with me in the last couple of days and said he's to say hello to you. You'll never remember him. He's a guy called Jimmy Laidlaw. He was a doorman at the place.
I do. I think I vaguely remember him. Yeah.
And he ended up in a band himself.
All right.
Yeah, he did. You see, you guys set me on my musical road, and I can't play a note and I can't sing a note, but you set me off on my musical road. There's no question of that, because I went on to have probably the biggest discos in Midlothian and Edinburgh. I went on to manage the big nightclubs, like was Coasters and Outer Limits. I went on to do that. Then I went on to have my own clubs. Then I went on to have my own record label. And we had a lot of success in that. And I couldn't play or sing a note, but I got in the top 30 3 times. And I got 12 dance number ones, because it was electronic and rave music that was happening by then. But you're responsible. It's your fault.
All right.
I'm pleased to hear it.
I'll get the royalties later.
I wish I did. So there you go. That's somebody. And the actual response since we put it on the social network site when we were looking for you, over 4,500 people got involved in that, and I'll show you that when we go through. You wouldn't believe. And there's your friend that you met after 40. You played in his wedding.
I did.
But that's not the only person. There was another person. I'll get Liz to try and find it. Somebody else came to us and said, there's so much happened, I just don't know where it went. Tell Jake, you played at their wedding as well. And so forth. Right, okay. Thank you. Joan Grant and Liam O'Hare. Relatives, are they?
Liam's my nephew.
And it was Joan over in Fife. Joan, thank you very, 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 very much indeed, because it was you that was instrumental in putting us in the right direction to get Jake. So, Joan, thank you. Do you know Joan?
No.
Joan Grant, you don't? She was right up there and she stays in Fife. When we put it on Facebook, she was right in there. She must have known Liam or something like that, and it all just kicked off. And do you know one of the funny things that came from that day? Bill Scott got in touch with us on Facebook and said, I can help you maybe with Jake. I went, wait a minute, Bill Scott? Not the Bill Scott. And Liz, I said, go check if that's actually Bill Scott, who we're going to be looking for next. And it was. And apparently he'd been on our Facebook for quite some time. He'd been kind of following us from Australia, keeping tabs on what was going on in the area.
Yeah.
Probably because I keep in touch with Bill now and again.
Yeah,
I've probably mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's why he's been keeping it.
He definitely said that to me just the other. I only had a conversation with him and his good lady wife Ruth yesterday. Because of the time difference, we're all over the place, because early in the morning there. Thanks, Liz, was preempting what I was saying there. So it was Joan Grant. So wonderful. Right, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to play a wee advert and another wee song, and then we're going to go through next door. We'll get the phone line and the Skype going, and we'll get all four of you talking at once. Is that cool?
That's good.
Great stuff. Two of the legends from my time and a lot of other times. I met somebody today, actually. I went to see my chairman in the Western General, and Barry Turner was there, ex-councillor for East Lothian. He was up there with his wife Sheila, and Sheila, like me, back in the day, remembers a lot of the things that went on in the area and whatnot, and she says, you're never going to do that, and I am. So Sheila, good evening to you, and best of luck to you, and I hope you get in good health very, very soon. And Barry is another one. He's a guy who isn't it crazy how it goes? I was talking about Joe Meek earlier on, and Barry put me in touch with the guys who actually worked with Joe Meek and wrote a book about it. So it's just funny how radio works. In the studio with me right now, two guys responsible, one in particular, because he started the band, who got me on my musical road, and I am so proud to have them in here. I'm so chuffed for East Coast to have them. Two of them, and we'll have the other two on the phone shortly. Jimmy Hush, Jake Scott will be talking to in about 5 minutes' time. Fantastic. Willie, can you hear me?
I can hear you very clearly.
Thank you. At last. Welcome along, Willie Phillipson.
Hey.
Now, sitting beside me.
Here.
Oh, I know, but thank God we got that working. It was a button that we needed pressed I didn't know about. Sitting beside me, you guys come in a wee bit. I've got Jake and Jimmy Hush sitting beside me. Willie's on the phone, guys.
Hello, Willie.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Hey, it's a great picture of you there, Bill.
We've not got Bill yet, Willie. What I've got is in the studio Jimmy, and we've got Jake currently. And I know Bill's on Skype, and he's probably got a camera up at the minute, but we've not actually got the connection at this end with him yet. I don't think.
Right then, because there's a koala bear, I thought it was Bill.
He's just not had a shave.
I can hear Bill.
You can hear him.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, can you hear us? So how do we do that? Wait a minute, 1 second. Stick with this. Now, what about these two guys? We were just talking earlier on, Willie, when the band first started, and Jake was telling me you took a bit of persuasion to join the jury.
Did I?
Well, according to him.
I remember us first starting. Jake talked to me about it, and now we had a bit of a blow, just a three-piece, and the garage down by in Pennycook, and it worked out all right. So it went from there.
Yeah. So there was a lot of arm twisting then going on, was there?
No, he only offered me $5 bob.
Well, let's be honest. $5 bob back then got at least 3 pints, did it? No.
Okay, no, it was good. No, right away. I fancied it once we got going. Yeah.
So that's 3 of you now in the one room talking, and I said to the lads earlier on, and Jimmy reckons it's 40 years that since you've all actually talked together at the same time.
Oh, dearie me. No, I don't believe it.
Well, time flies. Time flies.
When you?
No. It doesn't seem like that, mind you.
Come on, Willie, you must be...
So we want Ruth. We're just getting a hold of Bill, I think. We're just actually sending a request to open up his phone line right now. Bear in mind... Hi, Ruth. I can see her now. Bear in mind that it's something like 10 to 8 in the morning in Sydney.
Yeah, I wouldn't like... That must be Bill then, instead of Koala.
Well, we're just trying to get her up, so we'll get her here in a second. Oh, there's Bill. Guys, can you see him?
Right.
Oh, there he is.
Can you see us, Bill?
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Afternoon. They know that.
Hey, guy.
As long as it is radio, Bill's got a cracking face for radio, so we're all right there.
Cracking.
Thank you.
I always had a cracking face.
You can see these two. You can see these two. Yeah, look at this. You can see these two. You can't see these two renegades sitting beside me, Bill, can you? Obviously
I
not.
can't see you either.
No,
which
no.
is probably a plus.
It is a plus. It's a big plus. We just don't have the camera links here, I don't think. The technical guy's standing behind me, but I don't think we've got the links here. Willie, can you hear Bill all right?
Yes.
Is that you, Bill?
Yes, Willie, it's me. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, mate?
Listen, Bill.
I'm doing good, mate. How are you?
I see you enjoying yourself every morning on Facebook.
You were having a ball here.
Good.
Having a ball. Just went to see Billy Connolly last night. It was at the Opera House. Fantastic.
Well, I didn't. I thought he had retired.
We said hello. No, he's still on. Big time. Big time.
Oh, good stuff.
So I hear from your Facebook too, when Maggie always puts your gigs on. I'd love to come along and see it again, mate. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the last time. We went to the pub down there with you. It was great.
Good stuff, Bill.
You guys should be at the Albert Hall, not the Albert Hall.
I don't know about the Albert Hall, maybe the Albert Pub. Jimmy, when was the last time you two guys, and you as well, Jake, when was the last time the four of you, I know me and you, we just talked about it, but all four of you are talking at the same time to one another now. When was the last time that happened?
It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
No.
4 or 5 years ago?
No, the four of us, no.
So it's not really that long ago.
Longer.
No, the four of us it would be about 1970.
You reckon?
Oh, it would be, aye.
It would be about...
Yeah, time flies.
Time flies. It certainly does. It certainly does, because, 1967 to me was a few weeks ago.
Aye.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
Bill, you
Yes.
you headed off to Australia working with Lonnie Donegan.
I did.
How long
Yeah,
ago?
that was in 1980.
And you've never came back?
Of course I have.
No, I mean on a visit. You've never came back to live.
Oh, no. I've lived here since 87, actually. I lived in London for nearly 15 years.
Fantastic.
15, 16 years, yeah. Did a lot of stuff in London.
Yeah.
And then eventually got to... In fact, while I was working with Lonnie, and Willie and me were in a band together. Remember that, Willie?
Yes, a couple of times.
Yeah, we did a few gigs together.
Yeah, we did. What was it? The bass player, Ian?
Ian and Jackie McCauley.
Yeah, Jackie McCauley, yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This is better than two-way family favourites, guys. And we've got a radio programme going on here. Did you not? Just to let you know.
Do you remember this photo? Can you see this?
Oh, can you see that, guys?
Aye.
Aye, I see it, yeah.
No, you'll not believe it. I brought that photo with me. I've got it here.
Oh, have you? I just looked at an old scrapbook and that was in it.
But I was just
That's where we used to rehearse as the jury up the A68, remember?
I remember. That's right. But
Where about up the A68?
That was at the filling station at Ford.
Oh, right.
It was a wooden shed
Really?
in ladies.
Which
We
converted
used to
into a
rehearse
cafe,
in it.
didn't it?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Used to rehearse in it.
Incredible. Bill, when I talked to you on the phone, I said, did you have any plans of visiting back to these shores in the near future?
Could be around November.
Could be November. You know something? We need to have a wee... And I know what you said about playing. Willie, you're listening to me. Can we coax this guy maybe to pick up where you's all left off and maybe try and do a wee gig? What do you think?
That's 4 snippets. It's no full 4 songs.
Take a bit of rehearsing.
Well, I'll give you a couple of hours rehearsal. There's no problem there.
Oh, that's too much. Sorry, I'm afraid.
I've got some...
We might get it right if we rehearse too much.
No, you're looking...
I don't know. You did well. You did well. Don't be going and knocking yourselves down because, sadly, and I mean sadly, Writing on the Wall came along and you've got a record deal and you did some stuff. But me personally, and a lot of people I've been speaking to in the last week on the social media sites, and people coming in, even doormen that used to be at clubs that used to play it, etc., etc. I don't think you really got the recognition that you deserved, and I think psychedelia, if you like, at the late 68, 69, when it kind of took over, when we were at a crossroads with music and whatnot, I think that really kind of maybe prevented you having a huge hit.
I don't know, Ian. We had to move on. And Brian Wallman, who was our manager at the time, sent us to London. We were as green as anything. We ended up in the Middle Earth Club as the jury and had to be writing on the wall almost overnight. Remember that, guys?
Aye, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
We did songs like Sha-La-La-La Lee, and before we went on, we said, "Look, I'll just you'll all get this organ part. You be a bit wild here," and we just talked about that number before we went on, and we actually came off, and folk absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
we were living in the van outside the club. Hard times. Good times, though.
4 snippets.
I didn't,
It's only
Bill.
30 seconds each, 4 songs.
I was
Remember
inside.
that?
I was inside all night.
Listen, just stay with us, guys, because what I've got here is, and Jimmy's kindly brought it in, I've got snippets of 4 jury songs here. I'm going to play all 4 of them. I think Sha-La-La-La Lee was one of them. No, it wasn't.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Sorry, I just saw that on the CD. Just stay there, and we'll come right back to you, and hopefully you can hear this playing.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Put the camera on.
So did you guys hear that? No. You heard the latter end of it, I think, did you? The last 2 seconds, right. We'll fix it so you can hear the next one. So stand by for that.
Oh, we're sitting by.
a wee bit of a snippet for you guys. And Jimmy's just telling me that you were talking about that Shalala Lee and the bill, the formation, if you like, of writing on the wall in a day. He's just telling me you were rehearsing Shalala Lee in a lift at BBC Two or something like that. Is that right, Jimmy?
Going up to the studio.
Going up to the studio.
Mind that, Bill, it was you that reminded me of that. We're rehearsing in the studio with the instruments, just rehearsing it between us in the lift going up to the studio. Incredible.
Yeah, we just talked about what we were going to do.
That's right.
Just
standing
and
in the
went
lift.
straight on and recorded it.
That's mental. It's crazy, but I suppose you can only get away with it.
To take us onto that, if you want to hear what it sounds like, I've actually got the Shalala He.
Well, we can't see you. We can see you now, Willie, and Maggie. We've got you both there. Can you guys in Australia can maybe see them? We can't.
Maybe I've just said something's come up. It could yes or something.
It's a breakfast.
This is mental. This is really.
Guys, how's it going?
I can't make it out, Willie. Have you got a beard? No. Or are you just having shave for a day or two?
No, his chin's in the dark.
No, I'm standing on my hands.
Are you? Maggie, nice to see you again. Could you maybe put the volume up at your end of your microphone?
I'm trying. I'm working on.
That's too loud. That's too loud.
That's it. You're coming in fine there.
Mute. No, we don't mute. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's fine there. Leave it there. It's fine. It's fine. Right. Just Willie needs to get a wee bit nearer it, maybe. Now,
No.
Now I've got all the microphones open. So do you think we could have? Do you think we could get the four of you doing a tune and Jimmy can bash away on the table here? I've got a set of drumsticks through there. I'm only kidding.
I was going to ask you to sing.
No, I'm only kidding. Listen,
Ian.
Yes.
You're talking about Shalala Lee.
Yeah.
Now I've got it here on CD.
Have you?
And I think it's the one where John Peel introduces the band.
Right.
You want to play it?
Yeah, of course we do. Do you want to hear that? Is it going to remind you of days gone by?
Hope you're listening, boys. We're going to charge him a $5 for this.
Oh. The treasurer's out there. The treasurer out there. She's probably making up the bill for the tea and sandwiches you're eating. Anyway.
Tell the sandwiches are all dried up. I don't want to eat them.
That voice is in the voice.
Jimmy, keep them coming.
Those were made fresh tonight.
I'll be right there walking out of that container. Look at them.
Right, okay, let's go with that then. Well, maybe not as a case, maybe, but we will get it. It's a recordable CD, and I just need to change the setting on our CD player to make sure it gets it.
Try and get the intro.
So, it's off and running, but I'm not hearing it. Hang on, crack. You had a big intro on this, Jimmy.
What's the number from Writing on the Wall, and who don't apparently advocate anything as far as we know, and I'm not going to say the title of this one, you can just start it, you see.
Well, there it was, Shalala Lee. Not all of it, obviously, because I want to get through a few tunes tonight. What did John Peel make of that, then?
Well, I thought it was different.
If you can get in there, Jake, just...
I thought it was different. John, Bill mentioned, I think the first night at Middle Earth there, and John Peel was in the audience. And I never knew who John Peel was. I never, there was nothing on it. But a guy called Mick Farron, he was on the show as well. There was a lot of acts in that night. He told me that John Peel was in, and he liked the band. And when I asked him about John Peel, he says, well, that's him standing over there. If I was you, I'd go and talk to him. So I went and introduced myself, and he said, as soon as you get an album, a record deal, get it out, I'll have you on Top Gear. And that's what he did. But you were asking earlier there about our commercial, our lack of commercial gain. It took too long to get the album out, the first album.
Right.
And by the time we got it out, other acts had caught on to the sound, and they had overtaken us. It's just one of these things. Having said that, I've not got any great regrets about that. I don't know how Jim and the rest of the guys feel.
How do you feel about that, guys? Bill, any regrets?
Yes, I mean, Jake's right there. I mean, it took a lot, but on saying that too, I mean, we had bands that had hit albums like Wishbone Ash. They were, we were top of the bill, and they were still on, just supporting acts to us.
Willie,
And
what
a lot
about
of them,
Sorry, Bill.
and when we played at the Marquee, there was a lot of name bands that were supporting us as well. So I mean, we did it with a stage show and really exciting music.
What about you, Willie?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that Middle Earth gig very well. The top of the bill was the Nice, and then there was Family, and then us.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It was a hell of a night. It was a hell of a night. I remember it.
I remember I slept behind my organ that night.
Well, I slept on somebody. I don't know who it was.
I have a feeling T-Rex were maybe on that bill as well, but if they weren't on it, there was a band called Caravan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they went on for bigger things as well.
I've got a Marquee Club programme from November in 1969 here. You played on the 3rd, and you also played on the 10th, and and the 17th, and you...
That was a year's residency.
It's unbelievable, because you were one of the few bands that were... Oh, he's got it as well. He's got... Have you guys been sharing this week?
There's another one. Yeah, come on, we've got them all.
You guys were one of the few bands that were ever asked that back to the Marquee, to be quite honest, weren't you?
We were the only band that had 2 residencies ever in the Marquee.
That's incredible.
Do you know the story of how we got the first one? We knew John G was coming up to Edinburgh, and somehow we contacted him and got him along to the Place Club, and it was only him and some other guy, his little friend. And,
Steady.
And he came along, and we did a show for him, only him. And then he went back to London, and he phoned us a week later saying, look, all I can do for you is give you 4 Saturdays or every Saturday for 2 months. And we went, wow!
Incredible.
How good was that?
And unbelievable. And I'm looking at another one here on the 4th of June that you were there playing on the Thursday, and the Friday night, Elton John was there.
Oh, yeah. In fact, Elton John put that sheet on one of his albums, and you can see writing on the wall there.
Right.
In one of his, big album. I can't remember what it was.
Incredible. Well, I'm going to ask you one at a time. Start with you, Willie. High. What was a high moment for you back then?
Oh, well, whenever we got together and tried to do get a new song together, I always envisaged it at the Marquee, because that was the place at the time. I don't know how the rest of the guys felt, but that's what I always thought, right? Because it was always packed, and it was a great atmosphere.
What about you, Bill? Highs?
Oh, highs. I think one of the highs for me is when we went to Rio. I mean, there was lots of highs for us in different levels all the way along.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it was one guy from the Pleasance, Pennycook, Gorebridge and Newton Grange represented Britain in a song festival in Rio.
I know. I know, that is bizarre. Jimmy, you've talked affectionately about that. I mean, you had a long discussion in your house about the thing in Rio. Why didn't something come of that, Jimmy? Take that over.
Well, something did come to the sense that after we left, we done TV work and radio work over there, and then after we left, somebody must have realised that the band went doing a bomb because they released the single. We released a single, and it was All Never Told Us.
And then that was the last you heard of it, basically.
Well, I only heard about the single about 5 years ago.
Really?
It was bad management. That's what that was.
I've got one here, but as Bill says, there's lots of highs, but there's also hundreds of things you remember. And talking about the Marquee Club, the thing I remember is the guy that looked after the band room. He said, Writing on the Wall is the only band that ever comes here with their new gear on and puts the oldest, crappiest gear on that they've got. Every other band comes in their old gear and puts the new stuff on when they go on stage. I couldn't believe that Writing on the Wall was the opposite.
Well, I've often said you can take the guys out of Midlothian, but you can't take the Midlothian out of the guys. Simple as that. Simple.
Well, the height of the one I remember, the big one for me was Brazil as well. And you're right, I mean, it was a song festival, it's a competition. We were never going to win it, that was for sure. But anyway, it was a great experience. And I remember when I got to play, I think I had tuppence in my pocket. But it was just like
money there, didn't we?
It was a lot of money for me at that time, aye.
Who funded the whole thing, Jake? Who funded the whole thing then, Jake?
Well, it was TV Global.
All right.
They are a TV station. Now, a guy on that show recently has died. He was called Demi Russo.
Right.
He was on that show.
Wow.
And so was David Clayton Thomas.
And he actually got disqualified.
The blood, sweat and tears,
Demi
right?
Russo's got disqualified for that.
Now,
Really?
The reason being, everybody was just singing their own language, and he broke the rules by singing a verse in English instead of Portuguese.
That's it, that was it.
Unbelievable. We must get a listen to this single. We must get a listen to this single that you played. If you said you got it, we must get a listen to it.
Well, you want to listen to the Argentina single?
Yeah, we'll have a listen to that shortly. But you know, we're having a good old chat, the four of us here, five of us. So, Lowe's then. What about the story I heard about which actually paid?
Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Of course you can.
I've got to tell this story, right?
Right, go on then. Take that
Just to keep it at real.
Right.
If you can imagine, there's 25 countries, and they're all these bands are in the same room for their breakfast,
right,
dinner, and tea, right? So we're sitting, and every night you got the tops, steaks, brilliant. You cut them with a knife, just slice and butter. Wally Finlayson, after about 5 nights, says, now this is true, I can't stand this. Is anybody wanting a steak? I can't wait to get back to Pennycook for a pie supper.
I believe that. I believe that.
It's definitely true.
I believe that. Honestly. Unbelievable.
Of course I was serious.
Of course you were serious. You come from Pennycook. I know that. I know. I was it to the Clock Chip Shop.
And what about Corbridge? Where's that?
Steady now. I lived along the road from Bill in those days. Now, the thing is, one of the lows is what I've read, and I don't know if it's true or not, but where it all came to an end, if you like, was when you got the van and the gear stolen in London. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
So it all came to an end because you got all your equipment stolen. So there was no way back from that. I'm thinking, I know times were hard and whatnot back then. What year was that, Jake?
It was 74. It was the first night of the blackouts in London with the Ted Heath government.
Right. It was a pearl
and the van
pearl
gets
cuts.
stolen. And it was found about 6-7 weeks later behind the pub. The gear was gone. The seats were slashed. But we got the van back. But that was it. Well, it was $5,000 worth of gear.
Yeah.
A lot of money in these days. But it was tragic at the time. But we'd really, I suppose in a way, we'd run the course as hard as we could.
We had to borrow equipment to do a European some gigs.
So we went to Germany after that for
And the
a short
thing I
while.
remember about that is after the last gig coming back in the boat on the ferry, we're halfway across the water and the roadie comes up. Now I had to borrow drums and cymbals to go there. And the roadie comes up and whispers in my ear, we've left the cymbals at the gig. So I never had any drums. Plus I had to pay for all these cymbals that were left at the gig.
I'm sitting here in bewilderment, like, really, because there you are, a talented band, no question about it. You get all the gear stolen and nobody comes forward to help you, really.
No,
they keep you going.
They would rather run the other way.
What about your management? You said you had bad management, Bill. Was this the same bad management that was there then?
Oh, no, we had a series of bad management. One after the other.
Haven't we all?
the guy that was in Rio that should have, he actually had to come home because I think his business got broken into or something. You remember that?
I remember.
And he sort of left us there because, and then I said, people used to come up to us and say, I remember somebody talked about a tour of Venezuela, Brazil, and Argentina. They really wanted the band. And we just said, talk to the manager. Talk to the manager. But the manager never talked to them, and we didn't know this. I mean, if I knew then what I know now, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, hindsight's always a wonderful thing. And dare I say, and let me just take this moment also to remember the jury had another wonderful singer in Lenny Patterson, and he was singing on those first two jury songs that we played on the CD. And, let's just take that moment to remember him as well. I just think that it was such a talent, and the management, if it was management, why... I'm thinking to myself, why did nobody actually, when you come back and you're packing in, say, whoa, lads, whoa, look, let's take stock, let's try and get some stuff, even if it is beg, steal and borrow. I'm puzzled by that.
I think it's a hard one to answer.
The thing is, apart from that, we were on the road and done that. I mean, we've done that many miles that we had to have a new van every year. The vans were run in. So maybe by that time, maybe just kind of had enough of being touring and running all over the world and all over the place.
I think as well we needed to take stock individually to see what we wanted to do.
No stock left.
I think it was then that, Wally, you moved on to Meal Ticket after that, didn't you? Peas Make Honey?
Peas Make Honey, yeah.
And Bill moved into Sessions. Bill had already left the band. And...
I was doing some pub. I was like Willie. We were playing in the London pubs and just gigging around for quite some time. Yeah.
But you've played with both of you. I mean, Willie went on to have a couple of seriously good singles out. You actually got one of them in a soundtrack of a movie. You, Bill, with all your work in the pubs, you ended up doing backing with a lot of colourful characters as well, didn't you? And you too, Willie.
Yes, I did. I mean, I used to play in the London pubs with Chaz and Dave. I did some sessions for the Tremolos. I toured Europe with Johnny Wakelin. In fact, I got Jake a job there doing the sound, which was a very funny story at the first because I got him a job as driving the van going into Europe. And as it happens, he comes along and he'd been banned from driving, and it was lasted for another 2 weeks. So he couldn't drive, right? So we took him along and we got another driver. It was bizarre. So we had to send the other driver home when Jake could drive, and then he did the sound.
I knew that story. Incredible.
Bill, talking about driving, one of the things is good to be when you had an Austin Westminster, I had a Van der Pla Princess, and Jake had a Morris Oxford or an Austin Cambridge. We came up here to do a few gigs in Scotland, and Jake's car broke down.
Oh, it was mine.
And your Westminster.
At Westminster, and the band's van towed me to London.
For Goldbrick.
Really?
Who's that?
Right, Willie. Behave yourself. Hey, Honest and Rangers dubbed the Pennington Athletic a few times, let me tell you. Willie!
It used to be when your old man. I loved your old man, Bill. He was great.
Incredible.
Bill, funny when you think about it. Bill, there was one time the van's in one lane of the M1, and just for a bit of fun, I wanted to see what was in front, and so I'm in the other end. I'm in the middle lane, and there's a chain there. I mean, 400-mile tow. It's got to be a record, eh?
It's definitely a record. But what did you do with it when you got to London? I mean, it didn't work.
Well, it didn't work. I knew a mechanic in London where I got the car, and I took it back to him.
Oh, fair dues. Willie, you went on and had a wee bit of success. What was that all about then? Well, we know what it was all about, but tell the listeners.
Oh, a guy called Pete Robinson, who was involved with the record company. He saw the wall. He saw what I could do, and Peas Make Honey were looking for a singer, guitarist sort of thing, and so I went with them, had a couple of rehearsals, and it went on from there. We did the sort of pub rock thing, and it worked well for 2-3 years, and that was it. and then we did a couple. Well, we got some. The Wall have got some Rockfield tapes, and I did an album with Beastmate Connie at Rockfield as well, and then after all that, got into some sessions because my partner at the time was working in the game. Not in the game. She was working.
It's all right, Wally.
Aye, and she got me into the commercial business, right? So singing commercials for TV, radio, some films, and it was quite a productive time for me, but not as far as that's not really what I wanted to do. And then I came involved with a band, and we called it Meal Ticket, and we did about 3 albums, and then it was going good for a long time. So I wouldn't regret a lot.
Well, you went on as well to do. I don't think just one, but a few TV adverts as well, didn't you? I mean, you did the thing for Gateway. Do you remember that?
I did everything from nappies to cars.
I think you're still wearing one.
Well, I mean, it was money. It was wages, wasn't it? I mean, you got to eat.
Honest, that's... Well, to be honest...
Well, I think the Gateway one went on to be a famous hit. Was it Beyond the Blue Horizon, if I remember? Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I did that. Yeah, I did it. That was with Pete. And then On the Air Tonight was the big one.
Yeah. You'll still be getting royalties for that on the movie.
What's royalties?
What? All right, okay. Management was bad back then, wasn't it? Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, royalties. Yeah, the last check I got was £1.20 from PRS.
That's unbelievable. Bill, you still getting PRS or PPL? Anything? Are you still getting any royalties?
No, I'm the same as Willie. You get about £1.20 now and again for whatever you've done. In fact, I used to get £1 or 70 pence from some song that was played in Belgium. You know, you never how they pick all that up. I've no idea.
Yeah, I know.
Now I must say one thing. Willie's very much understating Meal Ticket. That band was unbelievable.
I totally agree with you.
I saw them many times in London. In fact, I came on a few times, played with them in the accordion. They were superb.
I totally
it's a shame
agree.
they're disbanded. And there's always things on Facebook for getting Meal Ticket back together again, and you're a great man. Any chance of that, Willie?
Yeah, well...
Well, it's just like us. We're spread all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a campaign going, I can assure you, over here to get the jury to play a gig. I'm serious. Jury or the Writing on the Wall. I'm serious about it.
When I first saw Meal Ticket, the very first gig I saw you was at Dingwalls, and I was absolutely knocked out. It was the best band I'd heard in a long time, and I thought you were definitely destined for big things. But sadly enough, it didn't happen that way. Yeah, but it was a very good band.
What about you two then? Royalties, Jimmy?
Yeah, I got the 20 pence.
No, you got the 20. Just take that around. Right. Let's go round the table. Then we'll start with you, Jimmy. This is a hard question I'm going to ask you, and probably a stupid question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Favourite jury or favourite Writing on the Wall track? What stuck out for you?
Well, the thing is, it took us, my son and myself, 7 months to put all these tracks on iTunes, right? Now, all in all, there's 50 tracks.
I hope you've written them all.
Try and, aye, they are.
Yeah, I hope it's you guys have written them.
I know all about that. Didn't you believe me?
Cool.
So to try and pick one on a whim like this is it's pretty difficult, really.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd ask.
There's a lot of good tracks, I think.
Yeah,
Jake, anything?
Well, I would. John Peel's favourite one was Buffalo, but he only heard the 2.5-minute version. It was actually 13 minutes, wasn't it? It was longer than 2.5 anyway.
No, I don't think it's...
Buffalo was a long
The
track,
longest one was Father Time.
Yeah?
15 minutes, Father Time.
Oh, Father Time was longer.
I think the extended Buffalo was 7.5 minutes.
The Father Time, I've said it to you, Jimmy. I don't know if Bill and Willie remembers the Father Time track, but for me it was... Sorry? For me, it was like, and I said this to you, it was like 4 different songs in one.
Yeah.
It went to 4 different plateaus, if you like, and it was like 4 different songs for me, Father Time.
Yeah, different moods.
Exactly. Exactly.
The arrangement, everybody had a hand in the arrangement in that one.
Bill's away looking for it, Willie.
I was thinking of a track there that is it not Harley Davidson, but what was something named like that? It was a Harlequin Castle. No. There was one there that it went in a feel, and just all of a sudden, without a transition beat or bar or anything, it just went in a totally different feel. It was unbelievable. I mean, that was later on in the time when we were really, very tight as a band and getting together. But for me, one of the tracks that stood out, I loved playing, was Arius, because it was so free and, you almost got to do what you liked in it. And, I love playing the organ solo in that. I mean, Jake had a running bass in that was you could do anything over.
I've got it. Believe it or not, I've got Arius. Arius that's from the Power of the Pix album, isn't it? I've got that on the system here. I've been playing that, and it is a cracker of a track.
Can I bump in here?
Yeah, go on.
Excuse me, Bill and the guys. Bill loved it because it's the longest intro that anybody's ever played in the world.
It is, Bill. And the reason he's saying that is because we were all eating sandwiches by the time we took him to play it.
I did fall asleep a couple of times,
we didn't write Arius.
No, composer's unknown.
Is it really?
It was on an album called The Cosmic Sounds.
Well, I'd claim the royalties for it, the composer's unknown if I was used.
It was just an idea that was somewhere from what Jake's talking about, and we just ad-libbed on top of that.
It was a great bass run. Fabulous bass run.
Just sit and listen to the 4 of you tonight. Everything in your lives, music-wise, from that era, seems to be the wall, the writing on the wall. It's all come from there. Would that be fair enough to say that?
It was the biggest band for me. But I've been in bands that have lasted quite a while. I was in a club band that lasted 10 years. I was in a good wee blues rock band. Jimmy's been in good bands. Willie's been in good bands.
I was in a band that lasted a week. A week.
Some of mine didn't last as long as that.
And who would that have been, Jimmy?
That was a band called Square Deal. Remember, Bill?
Oh, yes.
I remember that.
Was that a week? Jimmy Cruikshanks and half the Embers were in that.
Jimmy Cruikshank from the Embers was the singer along with Linny.
Right.
And Jim Marshall was the guitar player who played with a band called the Hippo People. And myself. And Peter Bottomley from the Embers was on bass.
I'm dying to
But
ask.
the 2 singers seemingly never got on.
Right.
And it was like boxing. So that's how it lasted approximately.
top story.
So
That's right, Bill.
the top. How did you have the energy to fight at the Top Story Club the time you got up there?
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me.
Unbelievable.
Chaps.
We're plenty of energy. We're playing 3. What you got to remember is sometimes we're playing 3 gigs a night.
Go ahead, Willie.
We Bill talking about, or somebody talking about the top story. Bill has no comeback on this. 4 of the band, or at least 3 of them, had to carry that
the Hammond
Hammond organ, a C3 top, all the way up about 10 flights. How many was it, or 12, was it, Jimmy?
Bill was at the toilet.
Well,
He's told me you liked that.
I've got to bring it to an end now because we've just been shut down, Willie. Thank you. I'm only kidding. Yeah. The thing is, the 3 of you who carried that Hammond organ carried the best organ there was ever in the world. So you've done justice by taking that Hammond up there. It deserved your attention to carry it up the stair.
It did, but we let it slide down, coming down.
We took that organ to Rio with us, and because they asked us to take it, and I never played it. I went all the way to Rio, and I played somebody else's Hammond organ. I played the guys from David Clayton Thomas's band.
Yeah.
Who was in the Blood, Sweat and Tears.
Yeah. Was it newer?
What, the organ?
No,
The
it was
organ.
just there. It was on stage.
Just happened to
You
be
know?
there. Save a lot of humping about, you're quite right. Right, we're going to go on for the last half hour. I'm going to let you guys on Skype get away. And we'll get you on your own for programmes in the near future, if that's okay with you, Bill and Willie. We'll get you both in just on programmes on your own, and we'll talk to you. Today, just getting the four of you together. Tonight, here. Tomorrow morning for you, Bill. It's been absolutely awesome. Absolutely. Well, I just hope the listeners have enjoyed it as much as I have. But I've got to say, and you're going to hate me for this. You're going to hate me for this. My memories, not that it's about me, but Tammy, the rock version that you did of Tammy, and the other ones you did of soul, the other soul rock versions that you did, like Sweet Soul Music. And what else was there? There was other things. Get Ready. And things like that you did. You took some Motown stuff.
But we never recorded them, Ian, which was a shame.
You know something? What you did then was... The thing is, what you did then, and this is why it sticks out for me, was unique. Everybody was trying to do Motown because it had just come into Britain and was going big. But they were completely copying it. You took it and didn't copy it. You started off like you were copying it, and then off you went into a kind of rock version of it. And it was unique. It was unique then. And how nobody picked that up and put that on vinyl back then, I shall never know.
Ian, what was one of the things that I remember when you were talking about that area was when we supported Cream at Magoo's in Edinburgh.
And I was there.
And we were on the top stage and Cream were on the bottom stage. And at this stage, we all thought we were going to be stars, pop stars, rock stars. And Jake had the sunglasses on. So we're doing a sound check. And so, right, Jake, you need to turn your bass up. We can't hear it. And Jake says, oh, that's fit. That's great. Sounds great. Just leave it at that. So Jake hug his bass up. Forgot to take the sunglasses off and walks right off the end of the stage.
Fell on my face.
Well, that gig at Magoo's, I was there. I didn't go to see Cream. I come to see yous. And do you know something? I didn't even know Cream was on, and that's honest. I didn't even know they were on. And at that time, I really didn't know who they were. But I came to see you guys. Isn't that bizarre? Magoo's in the High Street. Crazy.
It was a Monday night.
It was a daft night, yeah.
Well, I picked up Liddy and the band because I was driving the van. I come round the bottom of the Royal Mile. We were heading up, and I saw this queue up the mile. So I turned to Liddy and I says, "Is there a sale on somewhere?" He says, "How?" I says, "All the folk." I says, "They're got the gig." I said, "Nah, not on a Monday night." But he was right.
Yeah.
And it was because of Cream.
Yeah, Ginger Baker.
I've got a great memory of that gig, actually. A great gig. Yeah.
Awesome. I take it that was before you got banned.
Aye.
Bill, Willie, been a pleasure. And Maggie and Ruth as well, you're in the background there. Thank you, girls. You've helped along with this whole thing tonight tremendously, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, before you go, I'd just like to mention, we haven't talked about Lenny too much, and he was a big part of the jury, handwriting at the wall. And,
yeah, definitely.
You know, rest his soul, he was one of the best frontmen I've ever seen. Ever seen.
Yeah.
You know? He was great, and it was very sad that what happened to him. But
and there was a story about the Black Sabbath thing, wasn't it? Was it Black Sabbath?
Yes, that's right.
People were saying that Lenny was better. You told me this story, did you not, Jimmy?
Was that many stories?
I can't remember, but somebody told me that people were saying Lenny was better than Ozzy.
We did a gig with Black Sabbath somewhere. I mean, we always caught them at one uni or another, and Lenny was loping around the stage as he always does, and he cut his eye off. Do you remember that? He cut his eye off one of the jack plugs on one of the PA speakers. There was blood everywhere. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne couldn't have, with all the chickens he could have chewed, he wouldn't have got as much blood on the stage as Lenny put that night. Went to take him to the hospital after the gig.
That's right, Bill.
Yeah, but what Ian's saying's right there, and I would back that 100%. I'm sure you all would. Lenny, in my view, our view, I think, was in the top league of frontmen.
Oh, yes.
And there wasn't many, if better. They were equal, I didn't think it was MD better.
No,
That's my view.
Not that I've seen.
He was a quality singer, but he was also a top showman.
Oh, absolutely. Spot on.
Top showman. Fantastic.
I mean, it made the rest of us sort of, I don't know, loup around on stage or be exciting as well. It spread out through the band. I mean, you know, there was one time at the jury when we all got pulled off the stage at Roswell Institute, and there was only Jimmy left playing the drums. You remember that, Jimmy? Jimmy was on the... And there was another time we told them that Linny was... he was ill and he wasn't going to be there, and he ended up we had him in a coffin. Somebody else was throwing axes in the coffin, and Lenny was in there shitting himself.
Now
it was because it was me that had the axe, Bill.
Now we know where Alice Cooper got it from. Got it from Lenny.
Maybe.
Unbelievable. But that you're talking about Roswell Institute, Bill, just before you go. That was the 3 days, wasn't it? It was like you had the Regal in Bonnyrigg on the Friday, you had the Roswell Institute on the Saturday, and you had the casino, which was Nivensdown Miners Club at Lonehead on the Sunday. That was your 3 days.
On Newton Grange.
Yeah.
Ian, I'd like to talk about back to Brazil for a minute.
All right.
When we went on the stage, we're going on the stage now, there was something like 60,000 people there, and it's live. 220 million to the Argentina, Mexico, and
220 million.
That's right, Bill.
It's all of South America.
Before we went on,
unbelievable. Before
we went on, the guy says, "Now, what you can't do, you can't show a bare chest. You can't do anything like that at all." Now, one of the judges was Dalia Lavi, the actress. when she spoke to us on the plane, she thought, never said to us, but she thought we were a folk band. So when we went on to play, of course, the volume's cranked right up. The music starts. Bill's got the shirt off right down to the bare chest, standing on the top of the keyboards with his shoes off, playing with his feet. And Jake's right at the front with a big Union Jack on his back and a big massive shirt.
And a dummy tit.
And a dummy tit. And the people at the side of the stage were going absolutely frantic.
But no, they were trying to get me off.
That's right. Because
they were after my dummy.
But the whole lot of all the judges, when we started, every judge took their headphones off.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Blew them away completely.
I'm a bit puzzled why Bill ended up the sex symbol and not Willie.
Oh, that's easy seen.
Here, Bill. Hey, Bill, you're not looking for this end.
Oh dear. Oh, Willie, what have you got to say to that?
Noses rule, okay.
Anyway, it's been great talking to you guys.
It'd be nice.
As Lonnie Donegan used to say, if we stood back to back, we'd look like a pickaxe.
Right, I'll leave the last words with Jake and Jim here.
Aye. But like, lads, when we speak to you some other time, it's only been about 40 years since the 4 years of smoking. I hope it's a bit sooner the next day. Time's running out.
It's been fantastic. And Jake, it's great to hear from you, mate, and I hope all's well. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm keeping better. My health's improved a lot.
Very good, Jake.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Jake.
That's great.
Sure, it's been a real pleasure and fabulous meeting you this way again.
You look like rock stars sitting looking at you here. Tremendous.
I'm going to have to get them sorted out with Skype in the house and with a wee webcam so you can...
here for you guys in the studio.
Excuse me, we can't get Skype in my house because I still press button A when I go to the phone.
Well, you're laughing, Bill. It is Bonnyrigg. They only got electricity a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Can I say, Jake, it's great to hear you, boy.
Willie, thank you very much indeed, as always, pal. I'm going to talk back to you, not tonight, but I'm going to get in touch with you and we'll get you on individually. Is that cool?
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Get us all on again sometime. It'd be fantastic.
I'll definitely get you all back on again. And next time we'll remember it's actually a radio programme we're doing. No S words. No S words.
Okay, no.
Cheers, boys.
See you later, guys.
All the very best. Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, Maggie.
Take care, guys.
We'll get a camera organised for the next time as well. Won't you, Technical? He's standing behind me.
Yes.
We'll get the camera.
See you, Maggie.
Bill, he's talking about a camera. Know you Brownie 127, Bill.
together.
Mentioned the word camera there. Bill's away looking for a brush.
He's away looking for the brownie 127.
Come on.
Bye, guys.
See you.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Oh, there it is. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Bill Scott and Willie Finlayson out there, absolutely fantastic. Willie down in London and Bill out in Sydney. What did he... Guys, well, there's not a lot we can say to follow that, is there? We need to do an individual show.
Well, you could play the Argentina single if you like.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay.
I'd love to do that.
If you
The
give,
boys-
give me the other ones back since you're trying to put them under the counter there, right?
Right, so welcome along. It's 107.6. It is East Coast. It is, believe it or not, the Swinging 60s tonight on a night that is going to go down in history. There's no question about it. We've got 4 of the members of the jury and the wall, the writing on the wall, all together in one room, if you like, but in different parts of the world, and it's absolutely awesome. Awesome. And I haven't Liz has just walked in. I haven't even looked at the texts or the Facebook because we've been too involved. But it's been going absolutely brilliant here on the social media sites, etc., etc. So thank you, everybody, you, the listeners. And Liz gives me a wee bit of pink paper. I can thank everybody that helped me put it together in the whole getting. But first of all, let's thank Peter out there who went down to Coldstream and he's going to be taking Jake back. Robert who went over and picked up Jimmy for me. And then we had Jake's nephew. If we get that, I think I've left it next door. Jake's nephew. His name was Liam O'Hare. And Liam helped us tremendously when you were in Oban enjoying the sunshine over there, I would imagine.
That's right, yeah.
And in particular, Joan Grant. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. The people that helped. And like I said, 4,500 people came onto the social media site when we put up, "Where is Jake Scott?" Even Bill came on the social media site. Bill came on it. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Right, the CD. Tell me, you talk about it and I'll line it
Well,
up.
it's the Argentina single. This is the one that was released after we left and no one told us, and we only found out about 5 years ago.
So do you think any of you actually, I mean, you've got it and you remember it, but do you think anybody else remembers it? I mean, the rest of the band?
Well, these 2 songs, they were never played, and the first song, in fact, was never played live, but the second one was.
There's 2 on this, right, Loneliness and Down Home People.
That's right.
Right, do you think, I think they're still there. Yeah. Bill and I think Willie's just gone, but Bill, can you remember this Argentina single?
I couldn't remember it, no.
We're still here.
I got it from somebody when I was at. I saw Willie and Jimmy a couple of years ago, and somebody handed me the single up there. I couldn't even remember we did it.
Unbelievable. What about you, Willie? You're still there?
Yeah.
We just lost the picture.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
No, it's okay. We just need to hear you.
That's a treat.
Have you got me now?
Yeah, you're just coming back on, but you can keep talking, Willie. There you go. Can you remember this single?
Was it Valley Road?
No, it was.
It was recorded in Brazil.
It was recorded in Brazil. This when you obviously part of your set in Brazil, was it?
It was Loneliness and Down Home People, Willie.
Yeah. Yeah, but didn't we do Burley Road there as well in that studio?
We might have, but that's the only one that's what they've brought out.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
People. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to hear it right now.
A speck of dust in a million miles, 1,000 tears for someone's smiles. Will I won't I catch that Shall I stay? Will I go? This love I have could go on forevermore. I'm upside down, I'm inside out. My body wants to let something out. My body wants to let something out. My body wants to let something out. Feel my presence around you. Yeah, let's feel it now.
Yes, indeed. And there it is. There it is again. A wee bit of a trademark Wall song. You're in a really nice ballad there, and then you kick off.
That's it.
Yeah. You wrote that, Jimmy.
That's right.
Yeah. Yourself.
Right.
Guys out there, Willie, can you remember it?
Yeah,
You remember it now?
Yeah.
Bill?
I do now.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, there's so many things. I mean,
the one after that, Down Home People.
I remember that because I played accordion in that one.
That's
Yeah.
it, Bill.
I like that one.
On this, it's the keyboards because it was in Brazil. And the next one, Down Home People.
right, okay. Have you guys stay there as long as you like because we're going to play the next one.
All right.
What was this one called, Jimmy? Go and introduce
It's
it.
called Down Home People, written by Willie Finlayson and Jake Scott.
Oh, right. Well, here we go, Willie. Let's get this one in.
Do you think I'll be a DJ? What do you think?
Definitely.
I think you'll do no bad. I think you'll do no bad.
Very good.
Would you like to do it again?
I'll come back when I'm 20.
When you've been away for such a long time, and you find it hard to adjust and to make things rhyme, but then you think back on the times you used to have with those down-home people. They're a special kind of people. Down-home people. They will never let you down. Many hits I know have gone down to the smoke, and went back home thinking, it's all been a joke. Well, I tend to agree, but I can't get back that easily to those down-home people. They're a special kind of people. Yeah. Down-home brother, mother, sister, father, they're all waiting for me back home. And I pray each night, Lord, it won't be long again till I'm back home amongst my kinfolk and friends. And that's why each night I pray I'll be going back to stay with those down-home people. They're a special kind of people. Down-home brother, mother, sister, father, yeah, waiting for me back home.
That's incredible. I'm seeing another side of the wall all of a sudden. But before we go into that, let me just tell you about a couple of emails that come in. And grateful thanks to a guy called Robert Wallace. Robert is asking me to ask you about recording with David Bowie's first album. So I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll ask you that in a minute. And the other one on the machine, if I can get it up here, these are relevant ones because Robert Wallace was... who's the guy... that used to roadie with you? Was it him as well?
Bob Wallace,
Bob Wallace. He used to roadie with you as well, and he's saying he used to be... he played with Jake and the Hawks. And he's saying to ask you about David Bowie's album. Come on, what is that all about, guys? This is news to me.
Well, Bowie...
used to do David Bowie's his new tracks for him. He was David Jones at the time, not David Bowie, though. Is that right, Jake?
No, he'd had a hit with... his first hit, he did his first hit. And he had a band that did sessions for him. They were called Clouds. They were a Scottish band as well. And they had gone to the States, and he was needing a band to do the session with him for demos. And he had all the songs written on the back of his hand, as far as I remember. And we got paid 12 quid each to go down and do it. And it was in Luxembourg Studios. And we always thought that he possibly used some of the tracks as backing tracks on his Ziggy album.
But do you remember he said to us one time, was that okay? And you said to him, yes, it's hunky-dory.
Oh, yeah, and Wally was saying that as well.
Hunky-dory.
We're never going to get the credit for that one.
Oh,
no. Loads of other folk were claiming that one.
Well, I did better than you guys because I was at a Scotland-England game and it was at the West End and there was these two guys sitting at a bar that looked important. One of them was David Bowie and the other one was Cat Stevens back in the day. And David Bowie bought me a pint. So I did better than what you did. You got nothing. Lads, we're going to be calling it a day at the show here now. I'm just going to finish up with the two boys here. Thank you, everybody, once again. I can't thank you enough. And we'll be talking soon. Thank you very much indeed. Bill,
pleasure, Ian.
All the best. And Willie, all the best, son. Keep it going. Are you still playing with the Hurters?
Thank you very much.
Willie, are you still out playing with the Hurters in London?
Oh, yeah.
Right, I must talk to you because I'm coming down in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Right, brilliant. Fantastic. Brilliant. Thanks, Willie.
See, before you cut them off, can you play another track?
Yeah, of course I can play another track. And they can hear you. I'm not cutting them off. They can hear you. You can still hear them, eh?
Because I don't know if...
hanging on.
Apart from anything else, most people in Scotland never heard Writing on the Wall with a lineup without Bill. And Bill left and we've got a saxophone player in. So I don't think I think we played a TV show, but we never actually played live. And I wouldn't mind if you played one of these tracks off the Rockfield album.
I'll play that if Bill's not on it.
Play track. I'll tell you in a minute which one.
If Bill's not on this, you can nip off to the toilet, Bill. Go and get a kettle on.
Yeah, track 7.
Track 7. Track
Kettle's been on several times.
I'm dying to ask.
Have we listened to this, Willie? I've not heard it.
Willie, you hang on to this. But why was Bill not in it?
Bill
had left the band.
Left the band now.
And Albie just showed up at a gig and played with us.
He used to come up and jam, Albie. We asked him to join the band.
Right, definitely. Just go, Bill, go and get a kettle on. Nothing to do with you, this.
I'm on way.
You got the soul. Keep me right.
Sadly, we have to bring it to an end there, and thank you very much indeed. Hey, was that Willie Finlayson and Jimmy Hush singing?
That's right.
Yeah, got you both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, we're leaving you for the news now from IRN and Sky, and we're going to another show that starts at 10 o'clock. Once again, my grateful thanks to you all. God bless you, all of you, and thank you. Till another day.
It's been great.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Fantastic.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Take care, guys.
All the best, Ian. Bye-bye.
All the best, Bill, Ruth, bye, and Maggie and Willie, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Jimmy, thank you very, very much indeed, because
Brilliant, it's been
we wouldn't have been able to
fantastic.
do it without your music. And Jake, brilliant to see you, pal.
Yeah, just before I go, I'd like to thank Jimmy for all the work he's done. If it wasn't for Jimmy's diligence and hard work, this wouldn't have come about. So it's fantastic.
That's perfectly right. Well done, Jimmy.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, guys. All the very best, and you all take care, yeah?
I'll send you an invoice.
Oh.